Translation. Thus, during 2 seasons, the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great-souled sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Purport. Transcendental loving service for the Supreme Lord is natural inclination of every living being. The instinct is dormant in everyone, but due to the association of material nature and the modes of passion and ignorance cover this association of material nature, the modes of passion and ignorance cover this from time immemorial. If by the grace of the Lord and the great souled devotees of the Lord, a living being becomes fortunate enough to associate with the unadulterated devotees of the Lord and gets a chance to hear the unadulterated glories of the Lord, certainly the flow of devotional service takes place like the flow of a river. As the river flows on till she reaches the sea, similarly, pure devotional service flows by the association of pure devotees till it reaches the ultimate goal, namely transcendental love of God. Such a flow of devotional service cannot stop. On the contrary, it increases more and more without limitation. The flow of devotional service is so potent that any onlooker also becomes liberated from the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. These two qualities of nature are thus removed and the living being is liberated, being situated in his original position. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamniti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Itham sharat pravrishika ritu harer vishrinvato me nusavang yasho malam sankirtyamanang munibhir mahatmabhir bhaktiv pravrittatma rajas tamopaha. Translation. Thus, during 2 seasons, the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great souled sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Hare Krishna. So, here we see Srila Narad Muni narrating how in his previous life he got the seed of devotional service by associating with great sages during the Chaturmasya period when they were residing with him and he got the opportunity to take the remnants of food stuff that they left, and as he says, this purified him completely of all the previous reactions. Although we know that Srila Narad Muni is already liberated, he is Acharya, and he is coming just to teach us how to do devotional service, but by all these pastimes they are teaching us how practically we can also come to a transcendental platform by associating with the Mahatmas. So here first of all he says that by their permission he took the remnants and then he became purified in heart, and then the transcendental the nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. So that's the first thing, but it doesn't just stop there. After that he develops attraction for hearing, and hearing is very crucial because without hearing, without understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, there is a risk, there is a chance that we may do bhakti whimsically. So here then Srila Narad Muni is saying that and thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step. So we start hearing, and as we go on hearing, the taste goes on increasing and increasing. So this is emphasizing the importance of the process of hearing Bhagavatam from unadulterated personalities. They are giving the unadulterated bhakti, because people who are not pure in their own practice of Krishna consciousness, they cannot give pure bhakti. So even if they give Bhagavatam, it won't be actually Bhagavatam, it will be something adulterated. That's why here we see Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport again and again unadulterated glories of the Lord, right? And then to associate with unadulterated devotees. So that is very crucial. First, to understand that it is important to hear and who we are hearing from. So that's why this shloka is often quoted by Prabhupada, that Avaishnava Mukhod Girnam, that Avaishnava, who is not a Vaishnava, from his mouth, Puta Hari Kathamritam, Hari Katha, which is like Amrit, but still if it is coming out of his mouth, then it is not proper to hear from him. So we should hear from those who are presenting Krishna consciousness in a pure way, and only then can it arise in our heart also, that pure bhakti which is already there. So another verse which is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita in this connection is that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabu Noy Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karoy Uday. So here the point is made, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. All the processes of bhakti, they are starting with Shravanadi. And by this Shravan, what happens? The Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, which is there within the heart, it is awakened. So this makes us understand that even so many things are there to do in bhakti, but how much important is Shravanam, because without Shravanam it all falls apart. So every day it is our great fortune that we have this morning program, that every day morning we should come together and hear Bhagavatam, and by doing this our whole day is completely surcharged with the spiritual energy. Otherwise the tendency is that we'll do the practices of bhakti, and sometimes if we don't give enough importance to hearing, sometimes schedule may be hectic and whatever, and we'll hear, okay, let's today skip the lecture, or morning I will not hear, when I come back from or when I'm traveling to college or work, at that time I'll play some lecture. That may be some extreme cases, sometimes it may happen, but should not make it a practice. To sit together and attentively speak and hear Bhagavatam, at least if we reserve some time in the morning for this, then it is very nourishing for our spiritual life. So that's why Prabhupada made this morning program for us to get nourished every morning. We have Mangalarti, chanting, and then Guru Puja, and then sitting together and doing Shravanam Kirtanam of Bhagavatam. So this is what we understand from this verse, that Srila Narad Muni, he heard. One more point made here in a previous verse is that thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing developed. So there is a chance that even if we sit for hearing Bhagavatam, we may not be very attentive, and we may not catch Bhagavatam. It will be like there is a mesh and we are pouring water on it. Then water will not stay. We have to take a bowl and then water will stay. So there should, or better, sometimes in cooking there is a pot, it has a hole. So we are filling water in this. This personally happened with me, and then after some time it leaked all over. But we have to have a proper pot. So we have to be a proper vessel. We will not have any leakage. That whatever we are hearing, we have to grab it completely, and we have to assimilate it. So we have to also be proper in receiving this Bhagavatam. And here we see it is said, thus during the seasons of rainy season and autumn, Here the opportunity to here the great soul sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories. So this is what great souls do. Often this word Mahatma, great souls, is misused, but we see here what the great souls do. They are constantly chanting the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. So this is how to identify a Mahatma, that they have nothing more to do. They are constantly engaged in this propagating the message of Krishna consciousness. So by associating with such Mahatmas only can this quality also develop in us. Otherwise, if we see often so many people who join Iskcon, what was their background? They were not at all inclined into any kind of spiritual life. What to speak of the topmost conclusion of the Vedic scriptures? Even any basic things, even for my case, I will not be interested to do any puja at home. It will be like a frustration. Oh, I have to sit through this 2-3 hours, some yagya is going on. But and sometimes some on TV, like my grandmother will be playing some pravachan of some person, some pseudo spiritualist kind of, and it's like, why are they wasting their time in all this? Play some music or movie or something, because this is it seems boring. But if someone gets an opportunity to associate with people who are having that completely pure attraction for the purest thing, that is the essence of all the Vedic scripture, then that taste will come in us also. But provided that we do it attentively and avoiding all kinds of offenses. We have to be careful, and we just associate with the Vaishnavas who have this quality of attraction for the Lord, and that will definitely come in us. And yeah, so this is the mercy. When we associate with the devotees, we receive this mercy, and then when we have it, we are obliged to also give it to others. So it is our duty that when we have associated with Mahatmas, then at least we should start trying to become a Mahatma. That we should not remain the same fool that we were before. Even if it may not be very sudden, very immediate, but at least we start walking on the path of trying to become a Mahatma. So that is our duty. So then when we received this mercy, then we should try to spread it to others. And then what happens by this process of pure Shravanam, Kirtanam, unadulterated glories of Lord Hari, what happens is that the flow of my devotional service began. Srila Narad Muni is saying that this flow of devotional service begins, and this flow never stops. It cannot be checked, as here it is mentioned that such a flow of devotional service cannot stop. On the contrary, it increases more and more without limitation. So there is one shloka, one verse in this connection that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. He is saying Anandam Bodhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. So here we are saying Ananda Ambudhi, the ocean of bliss, is ever increasing. So this is the nature of bhakti. This flow of bhakti, it cannot be stopped. It will only go on increasing and increasing. But the only condition is that we have to follow bhakti. So this is the importance of Shravanam, that every day we listen, every day we become nourished, and then we propagate it to others. As we propagate it to others, the bhakti develops more and more, and we develop more and more taste for doing the same activities, and this flow of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. All these 9 processes goes on increasing. We develop a taste for them, and we go on increasing our attraction in these as we go on engaging in them. So this is how the taste develops, that by engaging in these processes, we will develop an attraction to engage more. And so here we can say this analogy is given of a river flowing into ocean. So this is very like something we should try to understand deeply, because the Advait Vedantists, they also tend to misuse this analogy, but they use it in a different context of everything merging into one ocean. But devotees, they use it in a proper way. So here Prabhupada is saying in the purport, if by the grace of the Lord and the great soul devotees a living being becomes fortunate enough to associate with the unadulterated devotees of the Lord and gets a chance to hear the unadulterated glories of the Lord, certainly the flow of devotional service takes place like the flow of a river. So how is the flow of a river? If we see how a river flows, it cannot be stopped. It goes on flowing and flowing, and in between some boulder comes, it goes from side and continues to flow. Whatever comes, it has to flow. Unless nowadays this is very common. So many rivers, they will be put, a dam will be put, but this is not proper. This is actually sinful. We are stopping the flow of the river, and the ecosystem is, so many fishes inside, they are very much affected by this. It's very detrimental for the river. But generally speaking, when a river flows, it has to reach the ocean. Whatever happens, it has to reach. Whatever hurdles may come, the river will go from the side, and somehow or other it will reach. Similarly, now when the process of devotional service starts by the mercy of the devotees, then it is sure that the devotee will go on and on and on towards Krishna. Nothing can stop him. Not because the person is so great, but because he got the mercy of those who are following bhakti purely, and so he becomes great by their mercy. So now the flow of devotional service takes place like the flow of a river. So as the river flows on till she reaches the sea, similarly pure devotional service flows by the association of pure devotees till it reaches its ultimate goal. Namely, what is the ultimate goal? Yes. So the transcendental love of God is the goal, and this is where the flow concludes. And so here such a flow of devotional service cannot stop. On the contrary, it increases more and more without limitation. The flow of devotional service is so potent that any onlooker also becomes liberated from the influence of modes of passion and ignorance. So what do we mean by onlooker? You have any idea on this? What is an onlooker?
Not interested.
Huh.
Teaching is going on and someone is just watching.
Yes. He is like a spectator. He is not participating, but even such a person, even they can become completely purified from the influence of mode of passion and ignorance. So because the bhakti, the flow of devotional service is so much potent, nothing can stop it. It's here one analogy is given of a river. Another analogy we can think of is like a fire. Bhakti burns up all the bad qualities in our heart completely, and all the like tamo guna and rajo guna, they cannot survive in front of bhakti, and they are turned to ashes. So this is what bhakti does. Even someone who is an onlooker, he can also become liberated from the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. And what to speak of those who are actually engaging in the process of devotional service, and even among them, what to speak of those who are engaged in it throughout the day, 24 hours, and nothing else to do. So this is the most fortunate situation to be in, because there are some devotees who are in a very difficult situation. Even some of them, they want to do bhakti fully throughout the day, but they have many obligations from family, and some have debts, and they cannot just leave and come. Although actually, if we see, like, if you leave that, Krishna will take care, but even that realization has to come, and they are so unfortunate compared to those who are fully giving their time in bhakti and absorbed in the process of Krishna consciousness. But one point to note here also is that it's not like just by dedicating fully that we will be on a exalted position, because what does it mean to dedicate fully? It means every single moment of our day should be devotional, should be connected to Krishna. But if even after coming to ashram, even after dedicating the life to Krishna consciousness, if we don't become serious enough, if we are loose, if we are just doing time pass, then it's like we are just wasting the resources which can be otherwise used for Krishna's service. So it is important to know what is the fortune of us, of those who are getting the opportunity to engage in bhakti throughout the day and to actually engage in bhakti throughout the day. So this I am saying as a reminder for myself, because I tend to sometimes waste time, but after coming to Krishna consciousness, when one gets the opportunity to whole day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, all the time he gets the opportunity to engage in bhakti, then he should not miss it. Then he has to be attentive, he has to be absorbed and doing devotional service in every moment of his life. So, and these all things are very difficult to understand, because even so many people, they become devotees, but then to come to this understanding what's the importance of doing bhakti fully absorbed 24 hours a day is very, very difficult to grasp. And that can only be imbibed by the mercy of those who have imbibed this. So this is another one of my realizations, you can say, that on our own we don't have this inclination, on our own we don't have this nature to do such things, even what to speak of 24 hours a day, but most of the time doing this is not our inclination. But when we come in the fire of devotional service, in the association of those who are attracted to Krishna so much, then by their attraction we get an attraction. And only when we develop some degree of attraction to Krishna can it be possible to engage in this process of devotional service. This is why I am very thankful to the devotees who are giving me association here, that by their association I am getting an inclination, despite all the difficulties, to give more and more time to bhakti, even if so many hurdles may be there. But what can compare to this? This is the highest thing, and it is so easily available. So here this is the gist of bhakti, that how we get bhakti is by the association of those who are bhaktas, who are devotees. And once we get bhakti, we have to take it fully and then absorb it, assimilate it, and then give it to others. And by giving it to others, we'll also get more and more taste for absorbing more bhakti. And this goes on increasing like a flow of river, and it only stops at the conclusion of the transcendental love of God. So, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
It says like flow of river, but sometimes someone commits a big fraud, then he goes. And what is the situation?
This is one of the points that even this flow, how will the flow come about? It is in offenseless bhakti. It's when the bhakti is unadulterated. That's why again and again it is stated unadulterated. One point is, what is an adulteration? It is an admixture of something that is unwanted, right? So we are mixing up bhakti with all kinds of bogus things. Then we cannot expect the proper result. So just like in a chemical experiment, there is a step-by-step process, and if you miss even one step, then we will not get the exact result. So bhakti, then how much more should we be careful in the path of bhakti, that if we miss something, then we won't get the actual result. But even then, because if we have engaged in pure devotional service in the past, and now because of offenses we have gone away, Krishna still does not forget him completely. he is still, after some time he will get the opportunity, after having suffered the results of the offenses, because bhakti is an eternal asset. That is stated in the Shastras, that bhakti is not like the material benefits. Whatever material assets we get, we lose that. But the spiritual asset that we get, even if after some time due to offenses we go away, but that is never lost. Bhakti will again start, but the person has to suffer for the offenses. One more thing is that all the offenses, they can be like the result may go away if the person is very, very sincerely and seriously engaging in the process of bhakti with full consciousness. But only one kind of offense is difficult, and that cannot be checked by this, that is Vaishnava Aparadha. So that is the most serious, because in the Vaishnava bhajan we were singing Hari sthane aparadhe tare harinam, Toma sthane aparadhe nahi paritran. So this is something we have to be careful about. Otherwise, whatever offenses have been done, they should not be repeated. But now it can be eradicated by sincere engagement in bhakti. Any other question? Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.